Welcome to Gen X TrustFall, the podcast dedicated to planned and unplanned midlife changes and the ability to trust in the unknown. I'm Carla Loomis. In today's episode, Chico Girl Amy and I chat about our younger selves and the advice we would offer those beautiful young women. Next, in the second of a two-part interview, we continue with Sonya Jacobson's story. Sonya lost her husband in 2018 to the devastating disease ALS. When we pick up the story in part 2, Sonya describes her life just after her family's loss, a time of rediscovery, relearning, and regrowth. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy. Amy, thanks again for coming back to the podcast. You're my
Love it. Love being here.
You're my frequent flyer. I can't say that word. But last week I talked to Rhonda and we had a little chat about what we would say to our younger selves. And we both kind of picked a different point in time. Rhonda picked like early high school, 14, 15, I think. And I picked early college. So that's kind of a big difference. But I was wondering first of all, if you could go back to a former self, what age would you want to go talk to? Like, which age of yourself would you go back to?
Oh, I would go back to my early 20s.
Okay.
Is that young enough?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course it is.
Okay.
And what advice would you give young Amy Gentile in her early 20s?
Thank you for using my maiden name.
I'll cut it out if you want.
No, please do.
Okay.
A little shout out to my dad, who's no longer with us. Yeah, so I think the reason I'm choosing my early 20s was because I regressed a bit in my early 20s. So my whole life I knew what I wanted to do. I mean, seriously, which was I wanted to live on my own. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to get a job. And I was raised to get married. And so I never really thought, I never questioned, oh, marriage, I'll be married.
Right.
Okay. And then I'm in my early 20s and I'm not dating anyone. And this is after college. And I'm thinking, wow, I was raised to get married and I didn't really, like, we chased guys in college. That's what I'd like to say.
Right.
But I was never serious.
Yeah.
It was the fun of the chase. And so I believe I got I carried this anyway, but I think I started realizing, what am I marriage? Like, not am I marriage material, but kind of. Seriously, kind of like, I didn't even I don't think I put a lot of thought into marriage, and I don't think I took relationships seriously at all.
What do you mean by were you marriage material?
Yeah, I don't know, but I just didn't put enough thought into it, and I had doubts. I started to doubt myself. This is going to be where I'm headed, right?
Okay.
And I started to really wonder, like, what do I have to offer someone, or what do I want to bring to marriage, or who would want to marry me? And wait, are you laughing?
No.
Are you agreeing?
No, I'm not agreeing. I'm surprised because I never knew that about you.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, yes, because I also thought everybody wants to marry me all at the same time. So I get what you're saying too. But like when you really sit down and think about it, like when I really chatted with myself,
Uh-huh.
I did start to think like I don't have a lot of confidence in myself. This is where I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
With it, right?
Yeah.
Like I really don't have that much confidence in myself in this area, at least in the area with guys, which is probably why I was all about the chase.
Uh-huh.
And then I started recognizing that I was too, this is not going to sound normal to you,
Okay.
but well, because I'm trying to tie it to something. But I decided at the moment I didn't decide anything. At the moment I thought that you had to not be okay with yourself, that it was somehow, I guess I wasn't okay with myself and I didn't and I thought that was normal. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Like with your physical self or your
Both,
okay.
both.
Okay.
Like in the genre of dating, I feel like, you always blame your mom for everything, and
Right.
this would be my mom and dad, but I feel like I was raised to not feel like I was good at not it's not good enough, compatible with anybody.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That you were and I don't know if I didn't feel that,
Yeah.
but I was raised to feel that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's confusion there for sure.
Yeah. Well,
And maybe it's because my family used to tell me what a, like, general I was, and so I was bossy.
but most families need that. Like you can't have a bunch of soldiers and no leader.
Mm.
I mean,
And my family needed it, but that is another discussion.
yeah, we're not going to go there. But uh but yeah,
Yeah.
so but you didn't know, like you were kind of maybe taking that as a criticism instead of a compliment, which is what I see. Anyone that tells me I'm the general, I'm gonna say you're fucking a right. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. I was taking it as a criticism, and
Okay.
I was thinking, like, there were things I needed to do to make myself easier to get along with.
Okay.
And I wanna state for the record, I never did a single thing, okay?
Wait, what do you mean? You never did a single thing to change yourself to be more.
No, I just wanted to,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Like,
just thought
yeah.
did I want to? I thought I should,
Right. Okay. Got,
okay?
yes.
But
So
I can't.
there was a box you thought you were supposed to fit in, but you didn't really want to try to fit into that. Is that
Right.
kind okay. Got it. So to me,
Well,
that means you had some self-esteem that you're like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be bending myself into fit into that box, but fuck it, I'm not doing that because I like who
you
I
got it.
am.
That's right. No, absolutely, which takes me to what would I tell myself at that age?
Yeah.
Something that I learned, within the last 25 years,
Yeah.
which is about 20 years ago. It has to do with when I met my husband, Jim. But, like, what I learned through just dating Jim, and it was a remarriage and a blended family, is I am who I am.
Yeah. Yes.
And I can be a pain in the ass to a lot of people, and I can also be loved to a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't and if I'm a pain in the ass, in my younger years, I would have been very embarrassed or
Mhm.
maybe hurt that I
Yeah.
was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And what I would tell her now is, "Who the fuck cares?" That
Exactly.
I would. And,
Yes.
like, don't even try. Do not go to bed at night thinking, "I wish I did things better. I wish I was
Right.
nicer. I wish I didn't,
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to express every feeling when I have to express it." Don't waste your time
Right.
because you get to love you for who you are.
Yes. I
Yeah,
I
and
love that.
yes, and so that's what I would tell myself is just love you for who you are. And a piece of that, which is, strange because if to know me is to know that I'm divorced and got married 2 years later, so clearly I like marriage.
Right. Right.
But the other piece of that is just because my family told me I had to be married, I never questioned whether or not I wanted to be married.
Yeah.
I just was told, and I would tell my younger self, "It's not important. You don't
Yeah.
have to push yourself.
Yeah.
If it happens, great, and if it doesn't, it doesn't."
Right. I think I had that same. I don't know if I didn't feel the pressure that I think you felt. I think that was something that people openly said to you and your family.
Definitely,
And it,
yeah.
it was not. I never felt like I had to, but I did. I don't know. Like if you would have asked, I didn't know myself back then. So I didn't know myself at all. And I also, like you, similarly didn't accept that who I was good enough. Like I didn't.
Right.
You know, there was always this strive to be not perfect, but I push myself, which I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's a bad thing, but there are times when I really need to give myself a break. And I am learning to do that, but it's taken this whole time.
Right. Yeah, that's well said. And that's exactly how I feel too. Like, give yourself a break. And, you know, maybe it's the generation we were born in, but it's a race to nowhere. And I wish somebody told me that in my 20s. Like, you are in a race to nowhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what is the rush?
Right. Yes. That for
And
sure. For
yeah,
sure.
it
Yeah.
it's the strangest. I wish I knew that. I wish I knew. I like to say, I would tell myself, fall in love with yourself
Yeah.
and just be done with it.
Yeah.
And now, and people laugh today. My friends laughed when I said it, but let's talk about when I fell in love with myself. Like, forget it. I'm a great person. I'm not perfect, and who
Right.
cares?
Right. Right. And the parts of you that aren't perfect are the best, sometimes the best parts.
Right. I mean, it's funny. Yeah, and that's how you learn. And I think, I mean, I can just go on a different tangent, Carla, because we live in a world, or no, we grew up, this age group grew up where we were told, I think females were told, you better not like yourself too much. You better not say nice things about yourself. You sound conceited, like
Yes.
all that crap.
Yes. I agree 100%. I'm still uncomfortable when someone gives me a compliment to just say thank you and not make an excuse of why something worked out really well or why I did something like I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it. It's one of those narratives that runs in my head, but you're right. Any girl that walked around high school looking like the badass that she was conceited.
Right. Such bullshit. And you know what? I pray that's done. Like,
Yeah.
I always, like, when I raised my daughter, and when I'm around, like, I'm around a bunch of little ones right now. Again,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have any grandchildren, but I have a bunch of young children through family
Yeah.
around me. And I always say to the girls, like, you know what? I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Please feel free to say you're beautiful. Please say it right now. There's nothing wrong with saying you're beautiful. My husband has no problem saying he's good looking. Like, I think boys were raised differently.
I totally agree. I mean, I can give you multiple examples of that and yeah, they I mean, boys have their issues, but they're not those issues and I agree. I think I'm hoping that women really young women now don't have that because I never looked better than when I was feeling like I didn't look good. Like
I know.
that's what that was the peak of my looks were back then. And I thought I was so many things that I don't even want to say out loud, but I wasn't cuz I can see a picture of what I used to look like damn girl. What?
No, I agree. I mean, and it's not just looks, but you have to put it in there because there's truth to it. Like, there's just
Yeah.
truth to looks, and women are so hard on themselves about looks. And
Yes.
stop it,
I know.
because we did look good. And then to boot, it's not just looks. Like, here we were in college,
Yeah.
like, we were doing things
Yeah.
to make change constantly in our lives.
Yes.
And yet like, I think you said it was more your college years. I said it was right after I was out of college. Yet I get out of college and I'm still confused about who I am. Like,
Yeah.
that's no.
I know.
That's pretty, it's minor stuff, but truthfully, it's remarkable stuff.
Yeah. I agree.
It's remarkable.
Yeah. I totally agree. And not having daughters, I did not really get to pass on my extensive
Wisdom.
knowledge. Yes, my wisdom. But I am very hopeful having worked with a lot of students and a lot of amazing young women that I do think it's different and I think that the world is a little more accepting of different body types, different mindsets, different strengths. And I don't think it's equal. It will not be equal until women are actually running all the shit.
Right.
But we're definitely getting there. And I think young girls I have so much faith in the young female generation. I really do.
I do too. I agree. I think it's getting better. And I think these conversations of what would I have told myself when are good for that.
Yeah.
They're a positive statement in that direction.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe AI can create the younger version of ourselves and we can actually have a conversation with young Amy and young Carla and we can go back and kind of pump ourselves up a little bit.
Maybe, or maybe I just don't even want to meet her anymore. Better version. So are you. We're all better versions now.
Agree. Agree. Oh my gosh, I know. When I talked with Rhonda, I was like, why was I chasing all those boys? They're not even around anymore. Like, why didn't I, I do feel so good about my friendships from back then, but what the hell? Like, I could have given them 1 hour a week and forget the rest of it, you know?
Well, no, we could have, since I don't believe any of us were looking for a relationship. So what was it? Am I the only one who wasn't really
um,
looking for a
it was
relationship? Like, what was it?
hormones. It was hormones because that, physically, evolutionary wise, that was our prime mating time, Amy.
Right.
That was our like
Well, I mean, I was clear. I mean, I look back and go, you were so clear. Like, let me just like someone who doesn't like me. And if he starts to like me, let me be done. Like, that's a lot of work.
You like me, I'm out.
I mean, I did have a boyfriend in my first year, but even that was like, hey, we could cheat on each other, right? Like that, we're good with that, correct? Oh, yeah, great. Okay, fabulous. I mean, ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking in the next 5 years, AI will create ourselves and then we can go back and just see what it's like. See what we were, because maybe we're remembering the other thing might be, we might be really hard on our younger selves right now, too.
I need to think about that before I say we might be even. I mean, we might be, but I feel firmly in this camp.
That's okay. That's okay. But when we meet them again in a few years, then, you might change
Oh
your
gosh,
mind.
I don't want to meet me because I saw me on video, and I look so insecure to me, and I don't want to
Oh,
meet me.
I don't see that.
Remember?
I,
I don't want to meet me, Carla.
all right. We'll keep you away from the AI, Amy.
Please don't bring her into my life.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to
Okay,
me, and we'll chat
sure.
again soon.
All right, thanks, Carla.
Okay. Bye.
Through all this pain and grief is, a stronger person.
Yeah.
Passed away on June 16th, 2018. It was the night before Father's Day.
Hmm.
So it's Saturday night. So that was great.
Uh
Luckily, we have, and we bought so again, we live outside of Philadelphia. A lot of people go to the Jersey Shore here, which
huh.
gets a bad rap because that TV show, but it's actually really beautiful. And being, a beach going person growing
Right.
up in Southern California, it was one of the best parts about moving here, in my opinion. So we had rented most summers since we had moved here. And then after his diagnosis, he said, I want you and the girls to have a house where you come
Oh.
and it's been the biggest gift, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, 2015 we purchased a house in Avalon, New Jersey, and fast forward, that's where he passed,
Mm-hmm.
which is a beautiful thing in a lot of ways, right? So three of us were there. He was on hospice. Hospice nurse was great. She said, I think it's going to be, in the next 24 hours because
Wow.
his fingers and toes were kind of blue. And
Mm-hmm.
he would say had been unconscious for maybe 10 days.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, it was strange. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. I remember we were playing all of his favorite music, and at one point, three of us went downstairs to eat some dinner because it
Mm-hmm.
was upstairs. He was, and but we had like a baby monitor so we could hear.
Uh-huh.
And At that point, Ava and I said, well, we were going to take a shower. And Ellie said, okay, I'll sit down here in the living room and listen to the monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I went upstairs, Carla, and I don't know, I looked over at Phil and he was laying there and I cried, but I took his wedding ring off.
Ugh.
I didn't want him to take that.
Mm-hmm.
I had been told that was, remember to do that. And I gave him a kiss and I said, I'm going to go take a shower because they say they can still hear you when they're unconscious.
Yeah.
So I turned around and I started walking to the bathroom to shower. And then something just occurred to me. And I remember I walked back and I said, one more kiss.
Ugh.
And I'm so glad I did because I got in the shower and as soon as I stepped out of the shower, I saw my phone on the kitchen counter. On the bathroom counter light up. Ellie texted both Ava and I and she goes, I think Dad's dying right now.
Ugh.
Because they make, I don't want to go into it, but,
Yeah.
just the breathing gets rough
Yeah.
and stuff. So I just wrapped a towel around me and Ava come running up and went in there and he passed away. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. And it's the most surreal thing. I don't know if, you've been with someone in the past. It's obviously it's devastating, but it's very sacred in my mind, to be with someone when they take their last breaths.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. Again, I don't know about Ava running up there, but this is what she did. And just hope it didn't haunt her for too long because that's not a pleasant way to see a person. But it's what happened.
Yeah.
And the three of us sat down there and I remember I had, planned ahead. I called I can't remember who that came to get his body, but that was another time that was just insanity.
Yeah.
They say not watch them do it. And so the girls and I went into Ellie's bedroom there while they were taking his body out.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see out the window when they were loading it in the van. I wanted to see it. I don't know. And the girls were like, Mom, stop. But it was just like, I still can't. It's like, what? It's the last time that person's ever going to be in my vision, So that was a really weird, emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then, it's like we just sat there, the three of us, staring at each other like, it's such a horrible feeling to be relieved.
Yeah.
Sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not going to lie, I was so relieved, Carla.
Yeah.
I think we all were.
Yeah.
It was just the last year had been horrible, especially with that dementia. Just horrible.
Right.
And he didn't want to live like that either.
Yeah.
At one point when he was pretty lucid during that last year, I remember him turning to me and he said, how did I manage to get the two worst diseases known to man? And that's, how we felt. It really was. And so there was a relief for him and for us. And I just remember, then I took a Tylenol PM so I could sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And we woke up and it was just surreal again. And of course, it's Father's Day down at the shore. And it's just people. I remember the girls and I took a long walk on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't think we spoke. I think we just walked. Do you remember one of Ellie's friends from high school was there? Word spreads so quick with social media now. So he just ran up to her and embraced her. And that was really sweet. I don't really remember much more about that time, except I do remember it was one of the most, it was like there was a physical pain, right? It was actually like, I remember I felt like I was being turned inside out at times. I got physically sick a few times those first few, and I remember 4th of July was a particularly dark, because it was like families. And it's just, it was a really, again, I don't remember a ton about that summer.
Yeah.
We had the funeral or, service in July. I remember I have a bike down there and I love to ride my bike. It's flat and you can ride for miles and miles. And I was going to give the eulogy and I did, but I practiced it, I got to tell you, probably 50 times riding up and back and crying and, getting it all out. And That was
Ugh.
super therapeutic for me. Moving my body is really therapeutic. I think
Yeah.
it's good to help
Yeah.
process emotions. But anyway,
I
so
agree.
yeah, and back to my amazing daughter Ellie. She had just graduated from Penn State in May. She got a job at KPMG, and she had to start in New York City in a month after about 6 weeks after he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, like I don't think I was cognizant of what a big step that was. I mean, I
Yeah.
was moving, not to make excuses for myself, but I don't know. Ellie and I remember I rented a huge extended cab Ford Expedition. We packed that sucker with all her stuff and furniture, and the three of us drove up to New York City. And it happened to be the hottest day on the year.
Oh gosh.
And her apartment didn't have, there's like room air conditioners. We didn't have one yet. And I remember we were sitting in her apartment and I looked over both of them and they were both assembling some furniture. And
Yeah.
sweat was literally just dripping down their
Ugh.
face. And I just remember wanting to change everything, like
Yeah.
Phil would have been there. He was such a handy guy. And I don't know. It
Yeah.
just was, I don't know. But you know what? We did it. The
Yeah.
three of us have been together managing our lives and helping each other since then, and he would be so proud, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a
Yeah.
really easy time. And then I took Ava to college. She was a sophomore at GW, and I remember driving home after dropping her off, and I had not been by myself
Yeah.
ever. I had roommates. I mean, sure, that's true of a lot of people our age.
Yeah.
I had roommates. I got
Yeah.
married. I
Yeah.
moved in with Phil. And I
Wow.
remember driving home and just barely seeing the road because I was crying so hard. And I had a dog. I have a dog now too, but a different dog. But I had a 13-year-old lab, or 12 years at the time. And I remember his name was Charlie. It was a sweet black lab. And I remember getting home and I said, Charlie, you got to give me another year.
Oh.
Give me another year. He did, and so that was great. But yeah, that was the beginning of my thiness. I think one thing I've realized is there's any time in life, there's the being and the doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was doing. I was busy as hell. And I'm sure that was by design for me subconsciously.
That was like your coping mechanism to stay busy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I come back from the shore. We had a big house in Bryn Mawr. I knew I wanted to downsize. I needed that big house and a house at the shore. And at first I was like, I'm just gonna go and travel because I hadn't traveled, Phil being sick. So I went out. I did a huge, like a month thing of being away. I went to Colorado and stayed with my friend Kathy, her husband Dan, and that was really therapeutic. I remember just sleeping a lot because I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
And we out to visit my college friend Diane in San Francisco, and stopping in Chicago and visiting my friend Julie, and
Yeah.
and then I had to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while I was away, my shore house flooded because I forgot to turn the water off.
Oh,
and
no.
when I tell you, it was devastating. It was disaster. The ceilings were caving in. Long story short, it all worked out where the insurance covered redoing it. And so not only then I went home, had to deal with that, and then cleaned out the house in Pennsylvania and put it on the market in January while redoing the house at the shore.
Right.
And downsized, found a townhome close to where the other house was, and moved here. And that was April. So not quite a year after Phil passed, I moved here. Got rid of a lot of stuff. And then my dog Charlie died. Literally, it was a year and a month after I said that to him.
No.
It was such a great dog. And I went to India on a yoga retreat. November. And I remember coming back from that and thinking, okay, I've got to, the dust has settled. I got to figure out my life.
Yeah.
Well, as we all know, this is 2019, 3 months later, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
But was so excited to go to Copenhagen for her study abroad. Kid, she couldn't catch a break at this point. So she goes to Copenhagen, and He's living in New York. Ellie comes home. Ava gets sent home. The three of us are here.
Oh,
And, we all remember that. That was another weird time. So I just feel like,
Yeah.
really in hindsight, there was not a lot of normalcy for quite a bit of time.
right.
Girls, during that time, I'm so grateful, but they talked me into getting another dog. And he's
Uh-huh.
laying here right next to me right now.
Aw,
His name's Teddy. He's a white lab.
how cute.
Got him in April of 2020, and they helped a whole bunch because he was a puppy,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so between, getting a new dog, the girls were home, then we go, this was another thing. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny at all, but that spring, Ava went with some friends up to or down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for a week away. They all rented some Airbnb, and they had no idea what part of town they were renting in. Long
Right.
story short,
Right.
Ava was walking with a group of friends. They get held up at gunpoint. It was
no.
just,
Oh
it was
my
horrible.
gosh.
So that was, it was just like, can we catch a break?
Yeah,
Catch a
exactly.
damn break around here.
Exactly.
Anyway, she's okay and all that, but
Ugh.
just more trauma for the
Yeah.
poor kid.
Yeah.
And so then things, we went back to the shore that summer, and Ava had a 21st birthday party. I remember it was kind of like scary that we had a party because remember we weren't supposed to be
Yes.
socializing.
Yes.
And so it was like we
Yes.
had to tell our neighbors, and
Yeah.
it's weird,
Yeah.
weird stuff.
Everything
but,
was weird.
everything was weird. And it's just, again, I was very busy
Yeah.
that the first year or two.
Yeah.
Then, and then things started to settle a bit, but it's hard to be alone.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, in a lot of ways, it's just in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of great friends. I'm not gonna, what I've learned is I've worked too hard on myself, especially over these years
Mm-hmm.
of, devastation and whatnot,
Right.
and self-reflection and becoming so strong that I refuse to settle
Yes.
just so I'm not alone.
Right.
I'm not going to settle.
Right.
And some people are willing to do that, and that's what works for everybody isn't
Right.
what works for me, or vice
Yeah.
versa. So I just am like,
Yeah.
if someone's great and they are fun and they have self-esteem and they're, don't take themselves too seriously and all those things,
Right.
then maybe that would be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think I told this story before, but my grandmother, she was widowed, I don't know, probably in her early 60s. I would say probably at 60 she was widowed. So I didn't know my grandfather really at all. I remember him. I have very few memories of my grandfather. She was alone, lived alone, worked for my dad, and when I was a kid, we would spend a lot of like Friday nights at her house, and the Love Boat. Remember the Love Boat?
Yeah, love the Love Boat. Yeah.
And so I would be watching the Love Boat, and there were always like every 5 episodes there were an old couple that fell in love on the Love Boat. And so I asked her, I remember vividly asking her, "Grandma, are you ever going to get married again?" And she said, no, 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 I'm happy. I'm alone. No. And then I went to college. My last year of college, they'd gone to high school together. She was 80 years old and
Oh my gosh.
fell in love with a old man that she had gone to high school with. He was widowed. They didn't just, it wasn't a marriage of convenience. It was love. And he booked them a trip on a cruise with one room, and she was a very good Catholic girl and said, "I can only go with you if we're married." And so they got married. And at 80 years old, they were both 80, and they were the most adorable couple that you would ever see. I mean,
I love that story.
and they truly were in love. It wasn't, my dad used to say, like, yeah, there's my mom calling, we called him Grandpa Augie, calling Augie sweetie. He goes, I never heard my mom call my dad sweetie, not once. So it really was like this, such a sweet, so I always think of that, like, it's never, And she probably would have said it was worth the wait. They had 10 years together and died within probably she died first, and then he didn't live too much longer than she did. But they traveled, they did it all. And
It's really nice. Wow. I'm glad they had 10 years together.
yeah.
That's pretty
And
long
it
time
was,
at that age.
she got sick, but it was pancreatic cancer, so it was really fast. And yeah, they just had a great 10 years together. So I probably would never get married again, but I have that example in my head all the time.
I don't think I mentioned this yet, but this other woman, Liz, and I started they call Widows Rising.
Yes, please talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, almost not quite 2 years, I met Liz. She's a fellow yoga teacher, and she was widowed many years ago. And so, we would talk about it. And then I also had two other friends that were recently widowed. So it kind of naturally came together, and we meet, like, we're actually meeting Wednesday night. We meet like once a month.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's just like a happy hour or something, or we're going to do some flower arranging next month. We did a wine tasting, just various things.
Yeah.
Sometimes a yoga class or sound bowl healing. But the group has grown, sadly, about 25 women. And they range. Sadly, there's one that's really young. She's only 40.
Wow.
And then there's some that are in their 60s. So it's a wide range.
Yeah.
And but I think the majority of them say that too, that they have no interest in getting married. And I think too, part of that is if you're not going to have kids with someone, and look, they say marriage is more, it's better for a man than for a woman.
Yes.
And maybe that's just our generation.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to have a partnership, but I'm not taking care of anybody.
Right.
So that's no thanks. But it's a great group of women. They all inspire me and impress me, and it's not like we sit around and talk about being widows so much or what we've lost, but it's one of those things where you can really be seen and understood by someone who's experienced something similar.
Yeah.
Right. And there's just nothing you can substitute that with.
Yeah.
So if you're just witnessed and accepted and supported, and it takes courage to let people into your life.
Agree.
So these women are pretty courageous to come and share what they've been through and support each other.
Yeah.
And we feel like we all belong. There's just this underlying understanding of what we've been through. So, I one of the things I like to explain is, I don't like to explain, but that I find myself doing is losing a spouse is, if you think about it, it's the most intimate relationship you ever have, right?
Right.
It's, you share everything with that person. You share your house, your meals, your bills, your kids, bed, your body, for God's sake. I mean, it's everything. And so to have that all of a sudden just abruptly end,
right. Yeah.
it affects every part of your life.
Right.
How you eat, how you sleep, how you travel, how you don't travel, how you socialize. Like all the women in this widows group are constantly, sadly, surprised at how all of a sudden we're excluded from couple gatherings.
Wow.
I don't think it's intentional. It's just, I don't know if people just don't think of it because we're not part of a couple anymore.
Right.
If they think we'd feel awkward, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But it's really widespread. Amongst all of us. So that it affects your social life. It affects, I hate to say it, but it has affected my self-esteem. Like I'm surprised that I say that because I never thought that would affect how I feel about myself. But I just think I feel very exposed. Very exposed. So it's good to be in a group of people that are, feeling those feelings.
Right. And there's probably an honesty that you can have with them that you maybe can't have with someone else. So, for example, to say like that you felt relief when at the end of your husband's life, and there might be times when you probably have to preface that with, I know this sounds horrible, but, or
or I just don't tell people that.
Right.
But here I am on a podcast announcing it, but yeah.
But probably with that group, you don't have to preface it with anything. You can probably, because many of them most likely have felt the same way. So it's kind of like me with my college friends, right? Like, I don't have to explain how I grew up, what my marriage is like. Like, there's so many things I don't have to go back and give the background to. And that's probably a lot of it. And the other part of that is, like, you're going to have probably a lot of friends that come to you after they're widowed because you have already been there, done that. You're kind of a role model for them, as are all the women in that same group, because eventually all of us that are married are not going to be married at some point, right?
You're right.
We're all going to be there at different points in our lives. And so you're going to kind of be that person, probably that first person that your friends call. Like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not that you signed up for it.
It's one of those things. No. And it's, it's a journey that we're all going to be forced to take, most likely, unless we're the first of, our spouses to die. But in the midst of all the, devastation, and I've lost so many parts of myself. At the same time, I've really met myself truly, probably for the first time. At least parts of me that had been pushed down, been quieted.
Yeah.
And it's been such an excruciatingly painful journey.
Right.
I've also grown so much.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the silver lining. You know, I hate what happened to Phil and our family.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for what it's taught me and opened up in me, and my ability to be empathetic with others that have gone through it. Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe that Phil died and I'm a widow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be the same person I was before he got sick. I mean, obviously there's still parts of me that, still laugh at the same things. Whatever. I have great friends and all that stuff. And I appreciate probably more about life than I did before. But sometimes I miss the old me.
Yeah.
That feeling of the innocence, the hopefulness.
Yeah.
More excitement about the future, because right now I still have, I'm very, very difficult to navigate this stage of your life, even if you are married, I think.
Right.
I don't know what you think, but it's a different stage.
Yeah.
And while it's great in some ways because you don't have all the, have tos, and you're not trying to grow your career as much and all that stuff, but, and your family, but it's just it's a little bit of a scary period of time, and doing it alone, I think, is even more challenging. And I mean, I know I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But there's times that it still sucks.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
I just spoke with someone the other day, and she's also a widow. I think her husband died 2 years ago. And she opened up a thrift store. She and her daughter opened a thrift store locally in the town that I live in, and employs disabled adults in the store.
Oh, wow.
And, she said, sorry, I think her husband died more than that, like 4 or 5 years ago. But 2 years ago, she and her daughter started talking about opening this store. And she said, I just don't have anyone to run my ideas by. Like, the decision making is all me. And it's such a heavy thing to do. It's such a heavy, to make a decision all by yourself is kind of exactly rolls into what you were just saying. Like, this time of life, it shouldn't be that hard, but after being part of a duo, you have to, right? Like, it's such a natural thing to say, hey, what do you think about this? And whatever the feedback. And so that I could see for her, that was really something, it was so unnatural for her to not have somebody to bounce these ideas off of, and so brave.
Yeah, I was talking Yeah, and I was talking exactly what you're saying to a friend on Friday. It's also a widow, and she said it's just like being able to say, "Do you think we should get a new car?" And if
Yeah.
yes, what do you think?
Yeah.
And when you're used to having somebody have that, that back and forth with,
Yeah.
or even something small, like, you go out to dinner and then you come back and you say, "Well, what did you think? How did Joe sound to you?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, one of the bigger things I miss is not having, that partner that cares about your kids as much as you do.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, "Well, what do you," or, my oldest got married. I guess it'll be 2 years in June, but it was so wonderful to plan the wedding
Yeah.
and have the wedding, but it
Yeah.
was such a big loss at the
Yeah.
same time that he
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
So like big things and little things,
Yeah.
or like I miss having someone to do nothing with, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I have friends I can say, "Do you want to go out to dinner Saturday night or to a
Right.
movie or what have you?" Sometimes I don't want to have to go out to
Yeah.
socialize,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
avoid being alone. It's
Yeah.
like, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I miss having somebody to eat a meal with.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
going on 2 weeks where I haven't had a meal with another human being.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, you have to make an effort. I know I have to do that.
Well,
Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of things you lose, but like I said, there's parts of me that have grown and are strong, and it's all been just horrific. It's been terrible, and I'd much rather not have had this happen.
right.
Like I said, it's brought out things in me that I didn't know I had,
Yeah.
and that's a gift.
Yeah. Agree. I agree. So before we wrap this up, tell me about your superpower because I really love it. I love your
Mm.
superpower.
I've always just been very open and vulnerable with people, and I feel like I didn't learn this until more recently, but I feel like my ability to be open and vulnerable gives other people permission to do the same thing if
Yeah.
they're willing.
Yes.
They're not always willing, but I do find they might be more willing since I'm that way. And
Yes.
so then I find that people tell me a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and I try and hold space for them. I don't always do a great job, I'm sure. And but yeah, I do think that that is something that puts others at ease, maybe.
Yeah. I I agree, and
Uh,
I can see how yoga and meditation and all of that combines with your ability to be vulnerable to people. So I imagine you're probably an outstanding yoga teacher, and
it's very nice
I
of you.
think I really do. I don't think we were taught that vulnerability is a good thing. I think the new generation, the younger generation, they do have a lot of that. They're much more able to get in touch with their feelings. But for us, like big girls don't cry, put on your big girl
Mm.
panties and go, right? Like men
Yep.
for sure cannot be vulnerable, at least from our generation. They weren't supposed to be. But women too, like women, it was like, no, you have to fight to be on equal par with men. Like I just see a lot of push those emotions back because that's what people are they're gonna take advantage of you. And it's such the opposite. In real life,
So right.
it's such the opposite.
I mean, honestly, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think, I was always told when I was growing up, and again, I don't want to blame my parents, but this is their generation, that
Right.
I'm too sensitive. I'm
Yeah.
too sensitive,
Yeah.
them, because I am a very sensitive
Yeah.
person. And, honestly, I do think that is my superpower now.
Yeah.
Because it's allowed me to dig deep and feel my darkest, most terrifying feelings.
Yeah.
And I've learned to face them and
Yeah.
lean into them even a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
That, I think you have to feel your feelings. You have to let
Yes.
them move through you,
Yes.
because they are going to find you.
Yes.
You can numb it by doing any number of things, any bad feelings. A lot of people go right into dating right away or whatever you do, it's going to find you. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that I think to me, it's actually stronger. Be sensitive and allow yourself to feel all your feelings.
Yes.
Because it's hard. It doesn't
It's
feel good.
No.
But it I think it makes one stronger in a lot of ways, more empathetic, more self-aware, more accepting. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I don't know.
I totally agree, and I love that you put that, because I think most people don't recognize that, or they have a different name for it, and it does kind of, like, to say someone's too sensitive, that should be the ultimate compliment, and it really isn't. and so I think to say, like, being vulnerable is not, that is a compliment, right? Because that means you're intentionally putting yourself out there and letting yourself, be open. But it really is the same thing, like being sensitive and sharing that with people. And I used to teach the at-risk kids that came from rough places, and
wow, that's tough.
It was, but they come in with such armor and such, they don't have a choice, where, the places they live, the people they live with, you cannot show vulnerability, right? Like you absolutely can't. But in my classroom, the more vulnerable I was, the safer it was for them. And so you really can't get to know someone if they're not vulnerable. You can't get to know somebody if you don't know how they're feeling, right? You really can't.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so to me, that taught me, like, oh, this isn't a weakness, at least in the classroom. This is a strength that I need to show them, that will help me get to know them better. And I'm finding that with talking to people on this podcast too, that if I can open up about something, just like you said, like, other people are going to be willing to show me their vulnerability and their feelings, which is really what we all want, is to connect through feelings. So I can't thank you enough for showing your superpower on this podcast.
Well, thank you for letting me.
I really appreciate it.
It's very therapeutic to share, and if it helps anyone else maybe going through something similar, then I hope it does. I'll be grateful for that. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure. I do know. In fact, I mean, it's helped me, and like I said, we're all going to be, if we're married at some point in one way or the other, at some point we're not going to be married. And you probably, if that were to happen to me, I would probably call you first.
Well, first of all, I hope it's not for a really long time, but when it does, I'm here. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla.
I can't really thank you enough, but it really means a lot to me that you were willing to come on and talk about this. So I hope we can keep in touch.
Thank you for giving me a space to do that, and thanks for listening.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on today's adventure. Thanks to Amy Clifford for sharing her honest reflections of her younger self and the message she would give that beautiful young woman. And a huge thank you to Sonya Jacobson for sharing her story with me and my listeners. Sonya's superpower of vulnerability is one to be emulated for me, and I suspect many of our listeners. Thank you for listening to Gen X TrustFall. If you liked this episode or have a suggestion for a potential guest, please check out our website at genxtrustfall.com. Gen X TrustFall is produced by me and the recording master, Ryan Loomis, at Double Banger Studio. Music by Ryan and Sam. Website and advisory by Amy Clifford.